Other interesting business news, you have the Container Store stock at 94.42% off. And the CEO is taking a pay cut in order to pay for staff bonuses. Now, it looks like this Texas-based company, which gets, I would say at the very least an A, perhaps an A plus for marketing in terms of their name being the Container Store. You know exactly what they do. They're a container store. They sell many containers. So, pretty good name, I was going to say. Now, their stock, in terms of how that's been doing, year to date, or actually rewinding back the clock a couple fiscal quarters quite a bit. So the lifetime of the stock is 94.42% off. Now, the past 5 years, the 5-year trend is down at 79.78%. Past 1 year is down 59.11%. Year to date is down 54.4%. 6-month trend is down 39.16%. 1 month down 4.72%. It's so bad that the market cap, and again, things fluctuate, I would say, well, shoot, on a second basis when it comes to publicly traded companies. So by the time I actually edit this and actually put it on the internet, the numbers might be off by a little bit, though I don't think anyone's going to go out and buy a bunch of their stock anytime soon. But it's one of those instances where their current market cap is $103.81 million. So recently you had the lottery in the United States where it's over $1 billion. So if you won that after the government steals most of it for taxes, you have, I believe the cash amount is $500 million cash. You could buy 5 of the Container Store. That's how much value has just been erased by this publicly traded company. Now, it looks like the CEO, Satish, took a voluntary 10% pay cut in order to offset the cost of pay increases for other parts of the company. So his salary is temporarily going down from $925K to $832K for a 6-month period. Now, last year, Satish's total compensation came in at $2.57 million. Granted, a lot of that is going to be a mixture of stock and healthcare and all that kind of stuff. Although, talk about the ultimate gamble. What if he just took all of his compensation, just went all stock? That could conceivably make him richer than Elon if he could somehow magically make the company worth more and more and more. Because if their stock is worth, again, I was going to say, what is it worth at this exact second? I'm curious. Last time I checked, it was under $2 per share. The Container Store. Oh, come on now. Stock. Oh, I'll be danged. It went up. It's $2.12 per share. Now, keep in mind, if it goes under $1, they get threatened by the New York Stock Exchange of being delisted, since that's one of the contingencies to be on there. So they're hovering about $2.12 per share. Now, in terms of their long-term trends, their 52-week high was $5.80 per share. Their 52-week low was $1.85 per share, which is pretty darn cheap to say the least for what used to be one of the most powerful retailers I could think of. Now, it looks like, again, he decreased his compensation. They clarified that as part of the action, Satish signed a letter from the company's chief legal officer agreeing that he did not view his salary reduction as a breach of his contract and was waiving his right to leave for, quote, good reason, unquote, due to the temporary pay cut. Had he chosen to do so, he would have been eligible for severance benefits that include twice his base salary. Now, the Container Store reported a adjusted net loss of $10.1 million in its most recent quarterly results, more than $20 million worse than the same period a year ago. In May, it announced a round of layoffs that affected about 15% of its support center workers and 3% of the employees at the distribution centers and stores, although the exact number of employees affected by the cuts was not disclosed. So it'll be interesting to see, can they make it? We've seen a lot of retailers bite the dust lately, unfortunately. Most recently, I think I would say Tuesday morning, unfortunately, another Texas-based company, they went out of business earlier this year as well. It's one of those very, very competitive areas to be in, and getting the customer a compelling reason to get inside the store is even more difficult these days when, of course, e-commerce is huge. I know the Container Store, of course, has an e-commerce part to the company, but I would say they're mostly well known for their brick and mortars across the United States, and aesthetically speaking, they're pretty impressive in terms of the architectural design that they put into them. But when was the last time you went to the Container Store? It's one of the things where, well, granted, anecdotally speaking, I like to, make my own furniture because this will last presumably about 100 years or so because it's, 150-year-old antique barnwood and a good old epoxy I put on top of it. But when it comes to the Container Store, I mean, and again, anecdotally speaking, I always thought of them as a expensive place for college kids because I know when I went to college, I got some of the stuff there, partially because I had a family member work there, so thankfully we got a discount, which made it a little bit more affordable. But I don't know. When was the last time you shopped at the Container Store? What did you purchase there that you can't purchase anywhere else? They do have a couple of their intellectual property where they design it in-house. The Alpha series, I think, is probably the most famous one, where it's like their little closet organizing mechanisms. So there's a couple unique things around the company that would make people more compelled to shop there. But, I mean, when was the last time you shopped at the Container Store? Do you think they're going to make it through this turmoil when, again, right now, I mean, shoot, we got 40-year hyperinflation, we have economic uncertainty, no one knows what's going to happen in terms of politics, and depending on what industry you're in, you may very well be regulated out of business. So, at all that time, do you really need to buy stuff that's at the Container Store? I mean, a lot of it is just luxuries, in my opinion. I take that back. I would say all of it is luxuries, considering, when I've moved throughout the years, I've actually just nailed pallets together to make a desk as opposed to buying something, because nails were under $1, so much better ROI. But let me know, do you think their stock will jump back up? Will they make a comeback and grow exponentially? Seems like there's a lot of rough times in retail, and it'll be interesting to see if they can make it. Thank you everyone again for taking the time to tune in today. Again, we're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of October, so if you can click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Again, I'm not a doctor, but it may help with the stuttering that I have. If you click that button, it might be the cure. We don't know, but together we could find out. Also, I greatly appreciate your feedback, especially if it's critical, because that's how you grow the most. So if you leave a comment, I greatly appreciate it. Also, liking the channel may or may not help. I have no idea how the algorithm works. It seems to change like the weather, but liking the videos is a good indicator that I'm doing a good job, or downvoting if I need to change some of the things accordingly. Also, lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.